Welcome to the Great Food, Great Stories podcast on Portland Culinary Radio. I'm Stephen Schaumler, your host, and this episode I'm really excited about. We've got Katie Hayman, who is the founder of Kerfluffle. Good morning, Katie.
Hey, how are you, Stephen? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm delighted. I've run into your stuff. See, where did I first meet you? I think it was at the Foodworks conference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That my friend Eric Wolf does, a wonderful conference, and I met you and I ate this amazing stuff, and I had in my mind that I'm going to be starting this Great Food, Great Stories podcast soon, and I want to tell the story.
Awesome.
And a lot has happened, cool stuff's happened to you since then. But for those that don't know, right off the bat, what is Kerfluffle?
Sure. Kerfluffle is a childhood favorite in a single jar, is what I like to say. It's no-stir, non-GMO, smooth peanut butter, and it's swirled with marshmallow cream. So this sounds crazy to most people on the West Coast, but it's an East Coast tradition. It stems from the fluffer nutter sandwich from the East Coast. So it's the state sandwich of Massachusetts, which I like to drop in. So school kids are really familiar with this. The fluffer nutter is peanut butter on one side, marshmallow fluff on the other, on white bread, usually a Wonder Bread sandwich. And I used to have it growing up in Ohio all the time. So after school, we had fluffer nutters. Around the campfire, we would stick Hershey's in our fluffer nutters and put them in foil and then throw them on the campfire. They get ooey gooey, sticky, delicious. So that's kind of the concept of Kerfluffle. I wanted just that childhood treat all the time when I was doing, I'm an athlete, so I do marathons, triathlons, I cycle, I surf on the weekends, and what my go-to snack is peanut butter and marshmallow just from a spoon. So I'll just grab some from the peanut butter jar, some from the marshmallow fluff jar, and just swirl them together and eat. And it's so good. It's delicious. So that's kind of where it came about. And I wanted it swirled in one jar to make it more convenient without the bread component of the fluffer nutter because, if you're carb conscious, that type of thing. So yeah, that's how Kerfluffle came about, and the whirlwind's been extraordinary. It's been insane, super fun so far, but holy cow!
All right, well, I'm going to taste this. So this is the s'mores variety that I'm eating.
Yes, so we have two flavors. The original is just peanut butter and marshmallow. The s'mores flavor is peanut butter marshmallow, and then has miniature chocolate chips sprinkled into the different layers of the jar. So that's kind of the crowd favorite is the s'mores. I heard the s'more is the flavor of the year for 2016, kind of like the Pantone color of the year. I think s'mores is the flavor of the year, so I'm happy to be on that train. So that's great.
Man, I love it. You can taste the marshmallow, you can taste the peanut butter, and then, of course, you got the chocolate chips in there.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Right away, I want a banana.
I know. Yeah, everyone says that. I should do a banana flavor peanut butter, actually.
Oh, wow,
that would be
amazing.
Yeah.
And then I want to put it on some pancakes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
I like to make Belgian waffles, a Belgian waffle maker.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
Waffles are good with everything, but I think a Kerfluffle waffle takes it over the edge.
Well, and and what you said about out by the fire, I can just spread this on a graham cracker and sit by the fire. That is, oh my goodness.
We were camping out in Eastern Oregon not that long ago, and you can't have fires out there. It's dry out there, so they say no campfires. So we actually brought some Kerfluffle out and had some graham crackers and just spread the s'mores Kerfluffle on there, and it was like having a s'mores without the campfire. It was terrific, and we made a lot of new friends at that campground, just sharing Kerfluffle on graham crackers. So it was good. Bringing people together one fluff at a time.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you tell me about how did this company get started?
Yeah. Sure. So I am a peanut butter addict. Obviously, I love this stuff, and I've had this idea for about 3 years now. So kind of going back to being an athlete, and after a race or a training session, I would always be eating kind of gobs of peanut butter and marshmallow. And I started thinking, there's got to be a healthier way to do this. So I wanted a non-hydrogenated peanut butter. So I was eating all the natural peanut butters. But I was looking at the ingredients in marshmallow cream or fluff, and it's all pretty gnarly. There's blue dyes in it. There's artificial colors, flavors, ingredients, and there's lots of preservatives in it. So if you get marshmallow fluff from the store right now, you can pretty much put it in your pantry, and it'll stay good for 3 years. It's like a Twinkie in a lot of ways, and that's not great for us as human beings. So I wanted to develop more of a healthy product. So I had an idea that this could happen. It was a possibility. But I moved to Portland and just being immersed in all of the food
So
scenery
when did you
around
move to
here.
Portland?
2013.
So it's been here 3 years?
3 years.
So
3 years.
welcome.
Yep. Thank you. I love it here.
Great food scene.
Amazing. The food is incredible here. And everyone, the thing that I love the most is not just how good the food is, but people love talking about food. They love just being immersed in all of the good food, people, and culture that's around here. It's awesome. There's food tours, there's bicycle groups, and they center around food. It's awesome. So I moved here, had this idea, but I didn't really get any traction on it until I took the Get Your Recipe to Market program at PCC. They were terrific. They knew about labeling, they knew about ingredients, co-packing, commercial kitchen space, all of these things that I have an MBA, I have a business background, but I just didn't know anything about the food industry, which there's so much to learn, and I'm still learning every day. I'm in an educational opportunity here, this new company. But it's great. So I took that program in 2015 from September to December. And then New Seasons is a partner.
So how'd you hear about Get Your Recipe to Market?
I just did some online searching on this. I am really good at online research. So I just started typing in kind of food programs, food learning opportunities, and that one came up. And you have to go through a little bit of an interview process. So I talked to one of the advisors, and she thought my idea was crazy. But, some of the craziest ideas are the best ideas, too, if you think about all that's ridiculous out there in the world and how awesome some of those ideas are. So, she told me, get your recipe ready, and if you're thinking this is a good idea, let's go for it. So I did. I signed up, and I took classes for, I think it's like a 6-week program, maybe a 12-week program, I forget. But I finished that, and then at the end of it, you pitch to New Seasons, who's a partner with the program. I pitched to New Seasons, and they had some really good feedback on the label, colors, and design. I made a quick couple of changes, and they asked if I was ready for production on a large scale by February, so just a couple months later. And so I had been working in the commercial kitchen space on my own. So I had a full-time job. So I would get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, really early, shuttle myself over to a commercial kitchen over here in Laurelhurst. Cute neighborhood over here. And I would take all of these huge 35 pails of peanut butter in with me and large pumps that I could get the product into the jars with me. And I looked ridiculous. And I would work from 2 to 6 in the morning, covering myself in marshmallow, very sticky marshmallow, making jars and jars and jars of Kerfluffle for sale for New Seasons. And then I would go to work from 8 to 5. And
this is the part of the startup that people don't realize.
Yeah. This is the non-glamorous side of startup, and especially a food startup. And I don't think I actually thought all about, I didn't think all this through when I was starting up.
You just thought I was going to go for it.
I was like, this is no problem. This is fun. I like being in the kitchen, the 2 a.m. phone wake-up calls. No one had braced me for that, I don't think.
Okay, so when did it first enter your mind? I think I might start a company selling this stuff. Roughly when?
It's always been in the back of my mind that I want to own a business. So going to business school, I think that's just something that's thrown into your head. Own your own company, do your own thing at some point. But I just didn't have that power behind an idea that was good enough to get to market. And then I didn't see this product around. I saw it as something that people would love if it actually got to market, and they are now. It's amazing to see your idea come full circle and for people to actually love this crazy concept that you have in your idea, to actually see it come to life. It's awesome. But yeah, I never had that thing of, there's something missing in the marketplace, let me create a product or a service and fill that need, until Kerfluffle. So I think probably 6 months before I went to that Get Your Recipe to Market program, I actually thought, yeah, this could work. This could happen. So, yeah.
So less than a year, really.
Less than a year, I know. It's been insane. It's been a whirlwind, and I think it's just, I hope it's just going to get bigger and crazier from here.
So you went to Recipe to Market. That was a big step. And that was a helpful program for you.
Super helpful. If there's a food entrepreneur or you just have an inkling that you have an idea that you want to play with in the food area, Get Your Recipe to Market is a great way to test out that concept. I had lots of samplings with my fellow classmates, so I got feedback from them. This is too sticky, or this is delicious, or maybe you should do this, or the label needs this. It was perfect. It really helped me out. And it was rapid fire. You get the feedback, and right away that night when you get home, you start working on the changes that you want to make to the product or whatever your issue is.
So that was a big milestone. And then what was it like the first time you walked into a New Seasons and saw your jar on the shelf?
So fun. I mean, they tell you in the Get Your Recipe to Market program, don't let that be a milestone for you, because it's so small as compared to all the other things that are out there that you need to do. And they're right about that. That was getting onto the shelves of New Seasons, and Green Zebra and Made Here PDX also sell it. And just seeing it on the shelf is so fun. So fun. But what's really fun for me is doing all of the samplings and the demos and the street fairs and the events, and giving out spoonfuls of Kerfluffle. And people, I've had reactions that stem from, oh my God, you are evil. This is dangerous. I could eat the entire jar in one sitting. So it's really fun. Or, people know the Fluffer Nutter sandwich from the East Coast, and they'll come up and they are so excited. And this is the Fluffer Nutter. And they have the Boston accent, so it's Fluffer Nutter. And then it's Fluffer Nutter in a jar. This is amazing. So that's fun.
So I think the reason that they say don't let that be a milestone is there's just so many more steps down the road to succeed.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
So the only comparison I have is that for more than 20 years, I wanted to be an author. I wanted to see a book I wrote with my last name on the spine and be able to buy it in a bookstore, a real book that I wrote by a real publisher. And the day I did that, first time I bought my own book at a bookstore it was a milestone. But at the same time, okay, now what's your next book? And is the book going to sell?
100%.
And so on one hand, for people listening, like, what do you mean it's not a milestone? It's a huge milestone, but they want you to realize that's just a first step.
Yep.
There's a lot that has to go, because just because it's on the shelf doesn't mean it's going to sell, for example.
Totally true. So I think that's the next biggest milestone for me is increasing sales and getting it out there. So social media is huge. I have a huge Instagram following, which has been so fun to develop. I love taking photos and getting the comments, and it's awesome. And someone posted a cool video review of Kerfluffle last month, and 25,000 people watched it.
Where did they post that? On social media?
On social media, on Instagram. He randomly found Kerfluffle and loved it. He gave the original a 9 out of 10, the s'mores 10 out of 10 on his scaling, and it was just so fun to see just some random person in Florida, right? Like, I have been to Florida a handful of times. I don't even know these people. He gets the product. He does a terrific review of it. There was no payment involved. He didn't let me know he was doing it.
He's just a fan.
Just a fan, out of the blue. How awesome is that? So milestones, yes, New Seasons, I love them. Working with them is great. I recommend the Get Your Recipe to Market program because they're a partner and they're so great to work with. They're awesome. I go in there and the promotions people are just so happy to see me. They set me up right away. It's great. But it's also all of the other connections that I've made through this endeavor has been just so wonderful. So like the Instagram followers, the Made Here PDX group, they are so phenomenal. They go up to the flea and food market, so they're there and people are sampling Kerfluffle there, and it's awesome. It's just so fun to see this.
So I've done a lot of consulting with a lot of companies about their branding and marketing and social media.
Yeah.
And sometimes when people do, particularly culinary startup, they don't seem to think they need social media.
You're right.
And I know you kind of alluded to it, but where do you think you'd be without, if you weren't, so you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah. I'm not a Twitter person. I'm not a tweeter. just because I have others. I don't know. I just never.
But
gotten
where do
into
you,
it,
what would think would have happened if you weren't on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I think my sales probably would have been half as much. So I've gotten a lot of wholesale accounts. I now have stores from New Jersey, California, Texas. They're all buying Kerfluffle, and the only way that they found Kerfluffle was through social media. It was either through my Instagram page and seeing a post there that someone that they're following liked or put a comment on. BuzzFeed picked up Kerfluffle because of my Facebook feed. It's one of the expensive hipster foods, if you don't know, that BuzzFeed article that came out about it, but I take it as a compliment. So they picked up on it. That made it went all viral on Facebook. And then that's opened other doors. Mouth.com, I sell on them. They created a little video ad. It's posted on Facebook right now. It's really fun to watch. A little fluff and nutter sandwich come together made with Kerfluffle. So, yeah, it's definitely a big boon for my company is social media. Thank goodness for social media, right?
Yeah, it allows the average person to tell the story. It doesn't take a lot of money, but it does take time.
Exactly.
It does take work.
Yep.
I suspect coming up
Definitely.
with what am I going to post now? It takes effort.
Yeah.
But it pays off.
Yeah. And, I've had a lot of friends that are now, I do it all myself. I'm the solo person behind this company, so it's a lot of work that way. But I understand now why people get into social media, and it's a career path now. I mean, people are Instagrammers for a living or bloggers for a living, and it's so cool to see that develop from nothing. It didn't exist when we were kids growing up, and now that's a profession, right? Like, that's crazy. It's awesome. It's very cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so next steps probably before you're taking over the world, one
Yeah,
jar
exactly.
of Kerfluffle at a time.
Yeah, Kerfluffle world domination, I like to say. Yeah. So I'm getting some new gear, so new hoodies and T-shirts and hats and tote bags that have "Go Fluff Yourself" and "What the Fluff" all over them. I love being a little bit tongue-in-cheek with the branding of it. It's fun.
I like, and your shirt says "What the Fluff." Yeah,
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, so just keeping it a fun brand. I mean, it's peanut butter and marshmallow. It's just have fun with it, right? So getting those, which will be for sale. Then we're doing a Kickstarter. So all of those hoodies and tees will be part of my Kickstarter rewards. So it'll run July 22nd through August 22nd. 30 days. And that is to fund a $25,000, very expensive peanut butter and marshmallow swirling machine. So it'll take our output of Kerfluffle from around 5 to 8 jars a minute to 30, which is huge. That'll help land larger accounts, get into big grocery stores. I don't want to drop any names, but large ones that exist not just in the Pacific Northwest, but across the country.
And that maybe you've talked to, but aren't going to mention that have interest.
Yes. So I've had a lot of excitement, a lot of potential opportunities. So getting out there and getting Kerfluffle. I mean, I've had people contact me on Instagram from South Korea, from Ireland, from New Zealand, from London. They all want Kerfluffle. So I want to give Kerfluffle to everyone, but gotta put in some work to get there. So.
All right, and so currently, you make your own marshmallow cream.
Yes, here in Portland. It's Portland made, total United States made product. And also the peanut butter is U.S. made. I have a friend that is from Brooklyn, so I get the peanut butter from Brooklyn, New York. It's delicious. It's non-GMO. That's important to me to keep it very healthy. All natural peanut butter.
That's awesome.
So you
got the regular, which is peanut butter and marshmallow.
Yep.
Then you got peanut butter, marshmallow, and chocolate chips.
Yep.
And that's the s'mores.
Yes.
And so any off in the future sometime, any flavors that you've thought about maybe adding?
Yeah, so it's not just flavors. So flavors I want to do like a seasonal is where I'm headed with a pumpkin or a pumpkin pecan or something like that would be delicious for the holidays.
Oh my gosh.
Would be amazing. But I'm also thinking snack pack. So whenever I take Kerfluffle, I'm always putting gobs of it into a little container or something like that and taking it hiking or camping or on the trails with me, cycling. But maybe like snack packs. So you would have some Kerfluffle on one side and graham crackers or pretzels on the other, and even maybe some collaborations. It's so good with ice cream. It's unbelievable with ice cream. So maybe one of the local ice cream companies
I'm a
would
big-
catch on to
yes,
that, and we could hang out together and swirl some kerfluffle into
That would be awesome. A big
something
fan of them,
delicious.
and I would be so excited to see that happen
yeah.
for you.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Yeah.
That is really cool. Excellent. All right. So Portland is kind of my experience, just a hotbed of like culinary entrepreneurism and startup energy. And do you think just being in Portland has helped at all?
Oh, for sure. For sure. You're surrounded by it here. There's a million restaurants always opening. There's always a new food item coming out. Breweries are all over. The food tourism industry is huge here. So I think Portland has just propelled this little concept I had in my idea. And it had actually just made it something that was doable. I think if I wasn't around all of these foodies and people that are excited about trying new foods and having those opportunities around me, I don't know that I would be doing as well as I'm doing. So yeah, I love Portland, and it's so great to launch a product here for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, it's been awesome to have you on the Great Food,
Thank
Great
you
Stories
for having
podcast.
me.
I wish you all the best. Since I first met you, there was two things happened. One, I met you and like, she gets it. She's an entrepreneur. She's working hard to make it happen, which is near and dear to my heart. And then your product was amazing.
Thank you.
It takes both of those things.
Yeah.
And I thought, as soon as I start that Great Food, Great Stories, I want to have her on. And so
thanks for having me.
It's just been a delight, and we are going to follow your success. So maybe in a couple years, when you're like taking over the world, we'll have you back on for just a follow-up. What's happened since then?
Yeah, that would be terrific. Yeah, world domination, right?
Exactly.
One jar at a time.
Yes, one jar at a time. So, man, I wish you all the best. Peanut butter fluffed up with marshmallow.
That's
Kerfluffle.
right.
Absolutely love it.
What the fluff. Thank
Cheers.
you for having me.